Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We are fighting for our right to live, to exist, and should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as a day the world declared in one voice. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Is it Top Gun Maverick?
No, it's a lot older than that.
Is it Independence Day Resurgence?
No, I never saw that one.
Is it Red Dawn?
You and I have unfinished business.
Oh? And what's so stinking about it?
The moment of heart-rate feeling, zero to something.
I think this just might be my masterpiece.
Welcome to season 2. Is it Red Dawn?
The remake with Thor, not with Swayze. Obviously, it's ID4.
Welcome
with
to
Big
our
Willie
season
style.
3 finale of the Average Joe's Movie Club cast. This is Justin.
And I'm Joey.
In this episode, Joey just had to quench his bogey fix. So we're going to be checking out Key Largo, one of the which was on my list of classics I'd never seen before, and see why Tarantino is such a big fan of that one. Plus, we'll get shrunk down to size and, talk about this tiny, fun little sci-fi romp known as Innerspace from 1987.
And just a heads up, as always, we are going to discuss our full thoughts on these films. So, if you haven't seen them and you want to avoid spoilers, I don't know, skip ahead or pause, go watch them, come back, whatever. Especially Key Largo because, well, it's Bogey and he's a goat. But yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, now is probably the time to turn back.
And if you want to be a part of the Movie Club cast, we'd love to hear from you. Just hit that subscribe button, join us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Keep the movie talk going. So let's keep the update short today. Got a ball game tonight. This is 4th of July podcasting. So, a little different from us. But hopefully my bad mood from getting the stupid computer to get going and so we can start recording doesn't linger on. But my kid been going to baseball practice every single day this summer, and then he broke his arm. So can't play in the big games for that. So that was a bummer. But
and he broke his other arm before, right? Or his wrist?
Yeah, a couple years ago he had broke his wrist in a scooter accident, and this was just running into the batting cage and tripped over something on the ground. And yeah, the kid should not be falling on his wrists. Not ideal for him.
Probably not ideal overall, generally. I also broke my wrist, not as a child, as an adult, and it was not fun. Especially breaking, as I'm a right-handed person, breaking my right wrist. So yeah, that was not a fun time.
But we're making by. We're making do, I should say. Going on vacation next week up to Pigeon Forge, so looking forward to that. And the middle kid's gotten really into Simpsons. He just drew a really cool portrait of Bart last night that he learned on YouTube, and this kid, he doesn't just go for the one piece of paper. He like taped 6 different pieces of paper together to do this massive Bart portrait. Actually, I can show you here. Not very well for our podcast listeners, but
Nice. Way better than I could ever do. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. Like, we're in 2022 and 1992, 2002, 2012. Kids are all, drawing Bart Simpson. And here we are.
Yep, I had seen a couple of the episodes from season 1, so we got through that, and now we're into season 2, and I've seen even fewer of those. So, yeah, it's neat to kind of watch that through. Watch that with him. And what's going on with you?
Oh, not too much. I was pretty excited to be into the Arrow Criterion sale time period. I had a couple of gift cards saved up, and I was going to go. I went to BarnesandNoble.com. I was going to get True Romance, and/or Wild Things, because, well, why not? And I was thinking about a couple of Criterions, and then I ran into the Shawscope collection and a $180 box set that I paid $47 for. I couldn't really say no to that, so I'm probably done. I'm probably not going to get any more Criterions, unfortunately. That one's an Arrow, but probably not going to get any Criterions, because I'm going to try to go to Virginia at the end of the month to see my kid for her birthday, since she's not coming down this year. So, because normally she would be here like right now, probably going. Well, she probably would have went home yesterday, or she would have gotten here last week and would be going home this coming Sunday. But so, yeah, that's really it. Lost an episode of Schlock Talk, so anybody's looking for a new episode of Schlock Talk, I apologize. I recorded one, it just got lost, and with some audio issues, and just had to reschedule a bunch. So, but another one's coming at some point.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember last time I participated in the sale. It's a lot harder now that my Barnes & Noble's quite a bit further away, and but I did buy The Northman for my dad for Father's Day, so there's a little bit of physical media buying.
My media buying, I mean, it slowed down. I mean, one, my shelf is almost full. Like, I have nowhere for that box set I bought. So, yeah, and that's actually kind of one of the reasons I've been trying to go through my movies I own but haven't seen, because there's some in there I'm sure once I watch them, I'll probably be like, I'm never going to watch this again. Especially once I bought for like $1 at the pawn shop, I'll just take them back and get a quarter or 50 cents and put it towards the next dollar movie and continue the cycle. So.
Okay, with it being the 4th of July, I thought I should pick out some war movie trivia. Everything I found's quite on the older side, so let's see how you do.
I would like to point out that you're like, it's the 4th of July, I need to pick war. I think that says all we have to say about this country.
Well, I don't know. It's my excuse to watch more movies. Well, actually, I'm planning on watching Born on the 4th of July tonight, which is an anti-war movie, so if that's any consolation.
There you go.
Okay. All right, this one should be pretty easy for you. This film, set in Russia during the Napoleonic Wars, is based on a novel by Leo Tolstoy.
War and Peace?
That's right. Good movie.
Yay.
Good couple movies. Which 1930 movie was based on the novel by Eric Maria Remarque?
It's a French movie, I'm taking it? Or a French novel, anyway?
Yeah, French novel. I think. Either that or German.
I'm going to go with real. I have no earthly clue.
That one is All Quiet on the Western Front.
Okay.
Which is actually about a German soldiers that speak English. I mean, just through that's how the movie is. But it's one of those rare movies where you get more of a German perspective on what's going on. So, all right. Question 4. This film is a fictional tale of World War I, where a French colonel and a regimental commander whose men are ordered to assault a virtually impenetrable German position without adequate artillery support or reserve troops. And because they have to fall back during the attack, 3 of the men are tried with cowardice. This is any of that ringing a bell?
Not even.
This is a World War I film you haven't seen yet, although it is directed by a very acclaimed director. And this particular film is in the Criterion. So, is that pepper the gumbo at all for you? You might have picked it. What season would that have been?
Is it Barry Lyndon?
It is not Barry Lyndon. It is what is it called?
That's even older. That's like 1800s, isn't it? Or 1700s?
This is Kubrick's first war film. Well, it's not really his first war film.
Is it?
Why am I blanking on what
Is
it's
it
called?
Patton?
No. That was in the 50s. This is, what is it? Why am I blanking? This is hilarious.
You can't even remember. Look at you, and you're the big Kubrick, like the Kubrick lover.
Oh man.
Like Kubrick. Well, I was gonna say no. It couldn't be anything because you don't like his noir movie, which is his best movie. But
No. Oh, yeah. A lot of people hype this one up, and I don't know why. I am totally blanking on it. Keep thinking of Farewell to Arms, but I know that's not it. It's
did you not write these answers down where you had them close by, Justin?
Well, I know this movie so well that I just figured it would just pop right back into my head.
You're not supposed to be drinking in the middle of the day, Justin. Jeez.
I do feel a little drunk right now, to be honest with you. Oy. Yeah, this is embarrassing. So what's new with you?
Did you found the movie yet?
You're supposed to guess it by now.
I've named all my guesses. I have no clue.
Oh, there we go. Okay, it's Paths of Glory. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, that's what I meant by Patton. Not Patton, but Paths of Glory. That's what the fuck I meant. And Carl probably just exploded from the other room because that's like one of his favorites from last year, I think.
Okay. Oh. And I won't cut that down at all because the awkwardness was uncanny there as I couldn't answer my own doggone question. But I do know this one. All right, 5. Charlie Chaplin named his character Annoyed Heinkel, but the parody of Hitler was obvious. What was the title of this film?
The Great Dictator?
That's right. Yeah. You haven't seen that one yet, have you?
Nope. I've only
you gotta watch that one.
Like one Chaplin movie. I need to watch more.
All right, let's get more into what else we've been watching with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What an awesome start so far. So, mine are the good, the bad, and the horny.
Which you just didn't even type out. I'm looking at it. So you have the good, and it's blanked out, and you have the bad, and it's blanked out, and then there's nothing beside the horny. Like you just forgot.
I'm not gonna forget the movie that's in the horny movie.
The horny on Maine. All right. I almost put mine I almost did Kylo Horny on Maine as the title of it, but I decided that it was too good an opportunity to just do the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, what's your ugly?
Oh, the ugly. We're starting with the shit of the shit. That is From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money. Oh my God. So let's be real. All right, I know we both love From Dusk Till Dawn, and we did it on an episode this season, last year, in this season, I think.
That sounds right.
My cheater pick for Tarantino. So, but From Dusk Till Dawn.
That was probably season 2. And now that I'm thinking of it, because I said a Tarantino movie and you picked Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was last year at some point. Season 2 we would have coupled them together, so it was season 3. Was this season?
Okay.
but because it's a 20 episode season, because you're a madman. But this movie is terrible.
Paths of Glory.
Yes, Paths of Glory. Patton. Barry Lyndon. Um, no, this movie is terrible. Like, it starts off and you've got oh shit. You got Tiffany Amber Thiessen and you've got Ash, and they get eaten by these bats, and you turn to find out you're just watching that on TV. And then there's it's a heist movie with the bad guy from the Terminator 2 plus Machete, and it's just all sorts of bad, and I don't recommend it to anybody. It was real bad. Like real bad. Not even like let's be real, From Dusk Till Dawn 1 is not good, but it's good. This was bad.
Okay. Schlocky, but not schlocky fun.
Oh yeah, no, it was blah. All right.
Blah.
Give me the bad.
All right. Oh, Godzilla. Yeah, I watched the Emmerich Godzilla, and this was my introduction to Godzilla, and I thought it was pretty fun back in the theater with my pa for over the summer watching that back in, was it 98, 1997, something like that. But yeah, this movie's crap. Older Ferris Bueller in the main roles, very awkward, and they're always like zooming up on him, and he says stuff like, "This might be the dawn of an all new species," and it makes him look like he's so bright, but it's just so kind of dumb. And then the design of the big lizard is pretty putrid. I guess it's designed to look like a giant iguana, based on the intro there with the nuclear testing and the iguanas on the island or whatever. But yeah, this is a super cheese fest. I'm sorry to Godzilla's fans that this exists. Moving on.
No, Godzilla fans are sorry that this exists as well. So there's a newer Godzilla movie where there's like all the different incarnations of Godzilla, and this one is just Zilla. Like he doesn't get called Gojira, whatever, Mecha Gojira. He's just Zilla, and he like jumps on the back of one and is immediately just thrown off, and like they're like, "Fuck you." So yeah, no, everyone's sorry that this exists.
All right, what's the good? You're good.
The good.
Good.
Well, Justin, I always heard that you had True Grit.
You watched the original or the Coen Brothers one?
The Coen Brothers. Yeah, so, I mean, what's her name? Well, all of a sudden, I cannot remember her name. Haley Steinfeld. You deserved a fucking Oscar for that movie. Holy shit, she was so good in that movie. And then like Jeff Bridges was fantastic. Of course he was. He's Jeff Bridges. Like Matt Damon was good because of course he's Matt Damon. So like the whole movie was good. Like I enjoyed it a lot, and I definitely it's my favorite of the 3 Coen movies I've watched this year. I definitely recommend it.
Nice. All right, where you want to go next?
Oh, the good.
All right, the good is Hustle. I watched that Adam Sandler basketball movie there on the Netflix, and really good movie. Definitely uses the Rocky formula, as Sandler basically plays like a veteran basketball scout. He is married with a daughter to Queen Latifah, so they have a really cute relationship. But yeah, he's having to travel all over the world to find like rare basketball talent for his organization, the 76ers. Unfortunately, they go under some new management, so he has a falling out with them. He meets this guy in Spain who's just a freak on the court, and so he takes it upon himself to kind of help unleash his talents on the league. And great montage sequence in the middle of the movie directly kind of tips its hat to Rocky, and a lot of good cinematography as you really get up close and personal with all the basketball action. There's a lot of good, like somebody will be driving down the court and he'll jump in and swat the ball away. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of good mental manipulation, as a lot of the other players are able to get into the guy's head pretty well and totally mess up his game. So really good sports movie. Highly recommend.
Awesome. I've been meaning to check that out, but he's got a couple of movies, being Sandler, that I need to check out and I haven't done yet, so I need to get on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the bad is left for you.
So, this was the movie that was the lost movie for Schlock Talk that I mentioned earlier. That is Dracula 2000. So, my buddy who was new to the co-host, he picked this. It's typically a little bit more of a budgeted movie than what I would have gone with. It does have a pretty killer soundtrack. If you're into like new metal and rock from that 2000 era, like all the horror movies or horror action movies were. So it had a good soundtrack, but it had a pre-Leonidas Gerard Butler
Okay.
as Dracula. It's
You wish he was dead and living it?
and the movie was just it was so generic, like it's just almost so forgettable. Like
I'm not even sure if I know what movie it was. It came out in 2000, I assume.
and it had two direct to DVD sequels. So yeah,
I keep
no.
thinking, what was it? John Carpenter did like a vampires movie back in the day, but
Yeah. Oh, and this was definitely trying. This was one of the things that Howard and I talked about. That's just kind of lost was that this is 2000, so we're coming off of all the Scream movies. So Wes Craven's a big name, and so this is Wes Craven presents.
Wes Craven, not John Carpenter. Okay.
Yeah, but John Carpenter did do a vampires movie in the 90s.
Okay.
But these are all Wes Craven presents. So they're all just piling off of that Wes Craven name.
Stamp.
There was one scene in this one where it felt like it was a Wes Craven movie, like where there was like a villain, like where Dracula was chasing somebody. But overall, there's so many better vampire movies, even from that era. I mean, Blade's in that time period. Underworld's a few years after that. Like there's just much better vampire movies out there.
Okay.
All right, brother. What was the horny?
All right. So Dane Cook, Jessica Alba. I think we had mentioned this to each other a few days ago.
Good luck, Chuck.
Went back to Good Luck Chuck. It was on Netflix, and yeah, this is how do I put this into just a couple words?
The whole movie is horny on Maine.
Yeah. let me pull up the cast list because he has that little horny pal of his. Good Luck Chuck.
It's
Because I
been
actually
so long
liked
since I've seen, so I can't remember who's in this at all.
Dan Fogler. He's kind of the nasty perv in this movie because he plays this boob doctor who takes advantage of all these girls wanting to get little modifications. Dane Cook. I mean, it has this magical premise where girls sleep with him, and the next person they go sleep with is the love of their lives. So he takes advantage of that, but then feels guilty and feels like he's being used. So there's some kind of funny twists in there. I mean, it's quite perverted, misogynistic, what have you, but this is a silly sex romp comedy, so don't take it all that seriously. Although there is somewhat of an offensive part where they really go overboard making fun of this overweight lady, but is what it is. Pretty raunchy, not your cup of tea, then I quite understand. But if you want to get back in touch with your 20s pervert male humor mindset, then Good Luck Chuck is a way to get back in touch with that person just for an hour and 40 minutes, and then you can tuck them back in the closet.
I mean, let's be real. Like, this is Jessica Alba in her prime. Like, who wouldn't be horny perv? Like, so I remember thinking it was fine, but that was early 2000s, like 2005 era ish. I'm guessing. So I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was watching with our friend Ben. Me, Christina, and Ben were watching it, and Christina didn't have a problem with it, but Ben felt a little uncomfortable during the rampant sex montage, so he split off. I guess you could understand that with watching it with a couple, but I mean, we weren't getting any extracurriculars, so I don't know. He
Well,
just
y'all don't
wasn't
need to
into
get
it.
any more extracurricular. You got enough kids.
This was long before that. Okay,
I got you. Okay.
let's get
I
in
took
war
that as
with
you-
it, baby.
I took that as you meant y'all were watching it recently, and I was like, oh, I didn't know Ben came to visit you. But
No. This was way back when. All right.
Oh yeah, that probably would have been a little awkward then, being youngins.
All right. So our featured movie this episode, Largo. 1948 American noir from John Huston. So always good stuff there, starring Humphrey Bogart. This is our feature movie. The story, so a man visits a war buddy's family hotel down in the Keys, Key Largo to be exact, and a hurricane comes approaching, and they end up with some undesirable characters in that hotel with them as drama ensues. I wanted to start doing this for the show. I came up with a fun fact. In honor of this film, the real Key Largo hosts a Humphrey Bogart Film Festival every year.
Fuck
Now
it,
you
let's
know.
go. Let's go right now.
Some Mai Tais and some bogey.
I'm
All
all
right,
for
so
some
you
bogey.
were quite into this film, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, I kind of suspected that I was going to be. I have not found a Humphrey Bogart movie I have not liked yet. It was John Huston, which I think I'd only seen one other movie of his before this. I also really liked it. And it's not quite a film noir, but it's pretty close. It doesn't have really like the hardened dick as the cop, but it does have some cops and does have some gangsters, and it has Bogey being cool as shit as Bogey does. So I don't know if there's been another actor who's as cool as Bogey. Like, I know Steve McQueen, everyone's like, oh, he was super cool. I don't know if he was cool as Bogey. Like, Bogey's pretty goat status.
You haven't seen African Queen yet, have you?
Not yet. Or Sierra Madre.
Oh, those are really good movies with him. Now, when I go on and on about the Tarantino connection, did you end up picking up on that?
I thought in one section I heard a piece of music
Oh.
that I heard in another I heard in a Tarantino movie, but it went by so fast that I was just like, I must have imagined it, because I forgot that you had said that until I heard that, and I was like, Justin said there was a Tarantino connection, but I didn't remember it until that, where I thought I heard some music.
Okay.
But
Well, hopefully you haven't looked up my notes, and then I'll let it.
no, I haven't looked at your notes. So.
Cool. Well, you wanna go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, or get to it naturally?
It's up to you.
All right. Well, so this movie really didn't grab my attention until maybe the second hour, and that's when I was really kind of keying in the fact that this was kind of like the original Hateful Eight.
Okay, I could kind of see that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they're all trapped in a storm, in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You've got unscrupulous folks running the place. I could see it. And then, Hateful Eight, a little bit of that, a little bit of the Thing. I could see it.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. If you can see it, then it's there. All right. So, I leaned on the wiki big time with these notes, just because, like, a lot of these little details is, like, were totally lost on me. But, let's get into it. The Keys is definitely good thing it was in black and white. Otherwise, I don't think you could do a noir film in color in the Keys. That would be a little strange.
I think there's technically only one noir film in color, and that's Niagara, with blonde girl whose name I forgot, which is crazy because she's like the most famous bombshell in the world. Shit, help me out here, Justin.
Monroe?
There we go. That's the one.
All right. So in this story, Frank McCloud, that's Bogey, he drops in at the Key Largo Hotel, visiting some friends. George Temple, to be precise. He's this kind of older guy. Kind of looks like the Colonel in his wheelchair, and he's got a daughter. Did you go through the wiki by chance?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
So it describes it saying that the hurricane season comes after the winter vacation season, which, being from South Carolina, we know that is quite wrong. Hurricane season happens in the fall after summer vacation season. So not sure what happened there, but there are no hurricanes. So what would be after the winter vacation season? That would be like in the spring. Yeah, there are no hurricanes in the spring. So.
Yeah, not typically, because they did talk about how in a few, from November to maybe February or March, it might be cool enough to, not be miserable at one point. But yeah, also that hurricane. Oh, it's nice and sunny. Oh, and here's the hurricane the same day. Like I understand they didn't have weather the way we do now, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
feel like you would have known the hurricane was coming.
Yeah, it was a little light on the impact there, but I guess special effects would have you. All
Yeah,
right,
it's all good. No worries.
so we get the guests in the hotel. We have Dapper Toots, Boorish Curly, Stoneface Ralph, Servant, Angel, and Guy Dawn, the alcoholic.
Gay Dawn.
Gay Dawn. Okay. Let's see. While preparing for the hotel for the hurricane, oh yeah, the sheriff drops by looking for their deputy Sawyer, right? Which he gets taken out off camera, from what I recall.
Oh yeah, but that's well ahead. Right now they both just drop in looking for the Oscala brothers, who are a pair of Native Americans who have broken out like 30 days before the end of their sentence. They even stopped a Bogey's bus on the way in looking for them. So they came in looking for them, and they asked Mr. Temple if he knew where they were, and he was like, "No, I haven't seen them." And the sheriff was like, "Well, if you say that, say they're not here, kind of thing." And they kind of go about their day.
And, some Seminole tribe folk, and a few interactions with those. So that was kind of some kind of nice culture, kind of infused here with the location of it.
Yeah, you see them when we get closer to the hurricane, and they're bringing in the boat, and then the family of the whole Osceola family, I guess, comes in, including the brothers, and he tells them to go turn themselves in. And that is, I think, when we find out that the one cop has been taken out off screen, because they're like, go wait for him, and then things kind of go haywire from there.
Okay. As tension ranks up, so we have the Temples and Frank. They get taken hostage because by these gangster types. They rush in and like start answering the phone for them, and so it's kind of not. It's not like an all of a sudden kind of hey, we're taking this place over. It's more not quite as direct, but waiting in the mists, we have Johnny Rocco.
Yeah, he's the big man, the boss man, Johnny Rocco.
Yeah, so quite a bit of gangster stuff with him. At one point, he's getting shaved there in the room with everyone, and yeah, there's a whole lot of chat about like the Prohibition days and the gangsters kind of on the way out and Cuba and stuff. So there's a lot of gangster talk. So
Yeah,
there's probably some good historical nuggets here to probably grasp onto on a rewatch.
Oh yeah, they're talking about in a couple years Prohibition will be back, and they'll make all the money this time because the families won't be at war with each other. So lots of, and Johnny Rocco is apparently like exiled from the country, but of course he's got all this power and sway, so he's not really kind of deal.
So that was his Rocco's number one lady that shows up, and he gives her a hard time about what, like, she used to be a singer and then she turned into a lush, and then he makes her sing. And I was reading in the trivia, and apparently Houston made her sing that day without warning. So that was all pretty on the spot kind of acting there. So that's kind of a cool thing. Kind of pick up on that.
All right, that'll definitely make it for, oh, this person sounds like they haven't sung in a while.
Yeah. See, the impact of the hurricane kind of spices things up. We don't see too many outshots of the storm, but there's a couple. So you can definitely still tell that they're in a tropical setting, but most of the movie does take place in that main kind of room of the hotel. They finally find the cop. He's dead out in the mud, essentially, and you probably know the timing of these events a little better than I. But what the cop finds out about it, they think that the Native American brothers did it, so he goes and guns them down whenever they're on the run. So he ends up feeling real guilty about it, since obviously the gangsters were to blame for Sawyer. Did I get all that right?
Yeah. So he goes, and the man in the wheelchair, the owner of the hotel, he tells the Oscala brothers to go wait in the car. And then, for whatever reason, they wait around and then don't. Oh, no, they the all the Native Americans try to come inside during the storm, and Johnny
They're
Rocco
all
won't let him in.
right. They're all huddled on the porch, right?
Yeah, and so when the sheriff comes back about Sawyer, they all try to escape, and because they're running and wanted criminals, he guns them down. And then a little bit later, when we get to the point where he finds out that it was the gangsters, he does feel really bad about it. That he killed two innocent people. Even, even from like a police standpoint, he was justified because they were wanted criminals and running and suspected murder and all of that. But so.
And so the main reason the gangsters are there is because some other gangsters are going to come and they're going to do this money exchange. So that's a chunk of the movie. Any thoughts on that part?
I mean, yeah, seems to make sense. We're going to do this money exchange, and then Rocco and his guys were going to go down to Cuba and I guess hide out there for a little while or something like that.
They're all smiles whenever the gangsters are counting money, though, compared to the rest of the time. They're pretty miserable looking.
Well, it is what it is.
All right. I'm already into the climax here. As so the storm ends. They're gonna go off to sea, get out of there. Bogey is, I guess, driving the boat, and he ends
Yeah,
up.
they forced Bogey to drive the boat because before we knew that they were gangsters, even though we knew before. Okay, so we knew they were gangsters, but before we were told they were gangsters. He mentioned when they were pulling in the boat that he grew up, or his first lady love was a boat or something like that. So they forced him to drive, but Rocco's girl stole Rocco's gun and gave it to Bogey. So Bogey kind of bides his time, throws one of the guys into the ocean, shoots another one, and kind of traps up. And he just being Bogey, being cool, takes everybody out, calls for help. He's also shot. And it goes off with pretty much the same opening shot, the same ending shot as the opening shot overhead of the Keys and the causeway. So
Yeah. I mean, overall, the verdict for me, like I said, I kind of struggled to get invested at this at first. As it went along, I was getting more into the conversations about, gangsters in America and how they're vibing with the folks that they're holding up, and it just kind of goes and kind of have that kind of, how would you say it, kind of a pressure cooker situation where you get all these people that don't like each other in one room, and what's going to happen, that whole Hateful Eight kind of formula, which, this obviously, kind of kicked it off in Tarantino's mind whenever he was writing that, I'm pretty sure. So 3.5 for me. It was all right.
I thought they did a very good job of building tension. And while some stuff happened, obviously this is an older movie. There's not a ton of action like you would probably see now. It's a film noir or film noir adjacent. So it's more on building tension and talking and what you don't see and what you do see. And I think they did a very good job with that. So I gave it a 4. One thing that I did want to talk about is both of us we don't live in Florida, but you live in the South where it is very hot and very humid. So could you imagine? So all those guys, they're all wearing long sleeve button-up shirts. And there's no air. Like even in the black and white, you could see the sweat stains and all. I couldn't imagine not having that central air. Like there's just a fan, and it's like that would be miserable. Like why would we be vacationing there? Which I guess is why he said people came in the winter, because it would be a more normal temperature. The other thing, so the man in the wheelchair, that's Drew Barrymore's great uncle. I think his name was Lionel Barrymore. And remember the part where he gets up and he swings at Rocco and he falls?
Okay.
Yeah, so in real life, he had been in a wheelchair for like 10 years at that point already. So like he wasn't faking, he was really in a wheelchair. And so that was apparently a big deal that he stood up, even though, with help from the bar, and took a swing.
Okay.
Apparently that was like a really big deal.
Now that you mentioned some more detailed parts, it really stood out to me, the part where it looks like Bogey and Rocco are going to go have a little confrontation on their own, but then he backs down, and then the Temples kind of accuse him of some cowardness. So that was kind of a kind of a neat little nugget there, because he obviously values his life a lot more than to go face to face with this gangster who's probably gonna get the drop on him anyways.
Yeah, and we didn't even really mention like the budding relationship between Humphrey and Lauren Bacall, which is his buddy's widow. So I mean, it wasn't as crazy, as it didn't go into it as much as some other movies, but it definitely was there. It wasn't even like it was really that hidden. It was there. And I guess in today's world, you would have shown him back on land, and they finally would have got the big kiss or whatever. But
Right.
So I mean, that was for the time period, a pretty crazy cast with Bogey and Lauren Bacall and Lionel Barrymore. So
Nice. All right, let's get into our Wheel of Destiny pick, shall we? And that was Innerspace. This is a 1987 American sci-fi comedy directed by Joe Dante. Steven Spielberg has his stamp of approval on this, which is kind of surprising why I hadn't heard of it. It was kind of a lesser-known one of those for me. It was inspired by the 1966 Fantastic Voyage. It stars Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, Meg Ryan. In the story, a test pilot is miniaturized in a secret experiment and accidentally injected into a hapless store clerk who's a bit of a hypochondriac, so antics ensue with this little action romp. Fun fact here, this is the only one of Joe Dante's films to get an Academy Award. This did win Best Visual Effects that year, which, looking at it now, it's just like, did it really? But, yeah, some pretty good effects.
They weren't, I mean, to be as old as they weren't terrible. Like, I mean, looking at it through today's lens, I could see them winning for visual effects. I mean, like, there's a scene where, near the end where he ends up inside Meg Ryan and he's in her uterus and there's a baby there, and like it's terrifying looking, but also at the same time like it's like actually that looks dirty. That's pretty good. So that was kind of interesting, and then like being in the blood cells and like the stomach and in the ear canal and the neural pathways or optical pathways and all that jazz, like. That part was cool. I wish the movie had stayed a little bit more serious and went less slapstick, but it is what it is.
Yeah, while you're on the whole anatomy vibe, like, kind of, as I've gotten older, like, any talk or references to, like, stuff going on inside the body always kind of makes me queasy, just because, like, I'm like, oh gosh, all the crap I piled in my body over the years, I'm sure. Some wear and tear, so that stuff kind of creeps me out.
Let's be real, all the booze killed everything you put in there, Justin. It's fine. I mean, it also killed all your brain cells and all your other cells, but whatever bad was in there, it killed them too.
Paths of glory. But yeah, that mostly happened to me during I think it was the heart sequence where like he like latched onto one of the like parts of the heart with a hook and stuff. It's like, ooh.
Oh yeah, try not to get sucked into the heart valve.
But I had first heard about this movie, a YouTuber kind of who does like movies that are pretty good to be nostalgic about. He does little retrospectives, so I heard about Innerspace that way. I mean, you got Spielberg giving him his stamp on like what the Goonies, the Gremlins, all these Arachnophobia. So yeah, it's neat to find that Innerspace was kind of among those like Kathleen Kennedy, Amblin kind of movies. I'm not sure if this was actually produced by Amblin, but it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, that whole cast of guys that was and gal in the movies back in the 80s, as I'm clearly struggling to know what I'm trying to say here. But anyways.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going. I mean, I guess it definitely inspired the most well-known of those movies, at least to our age, was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which was only like 2 years later. So, maybe Ant-Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, I remember countless cartoons. Like, I mean, you have the Magic School Bus. Different episodes of action shows where, like, yeah, they go in, like, someone's sick and they go and miniaturize themselves and go fight off the infection in the body or whatever. Osmosis Jones, I believe, does something like that too. But
Maybe.
yep, a lot of shrinking down to size in the movies throughout the years. But yeah, I was just trying to say that. I mean, we know Spielberg from like Raiders of the Lost Ark from the '80s. But it was just crazy how many other films he had his hands on. Oh, Poltergeist is in there too. The opening credits. It's cool how it has all that sciencey stuff, and then you kind of have the Indiana Jones text where it's the white and surrounded by black. So picked up on a little bit of those aspects. So kind of makes it clear that Dennis Quaid's a bit of a hothead there in the opening as he shows up to that military ball all drunk and making a fool of himself, and is there. Hints left by Meg Ryan the next day, because I guess they're pretty close. I mean, you had already mentioned the fact that she's pregnant towards the end. But
Yeah, well, from
away,
that
Joey.
incident. So yeah, it was that incident. So they were together, and I guess off and on, and they go home together that night, and then she leaves in the morning, but he's got like all this pilot stuff in his room. He's just the stereotypical '80s hot-headed pilot, kind of think like Maverick or whatever. He's pretty hot-headed, and I guess upset that some of these younger pilots are going to be doing all this like space stuff or new age stuff, and so yeah, she leaves, and he ends up naked in the street yelling after her.
Oh, with a towel.
Yeah, no, the towel gets pulled off when the taxi.
Oh yeah, that's right. We do get a nice little butt shot as she's driving off.
Yeah, and so if you want to see Dennis Quaid's butt, there you go. Don't get to see Meg Ryan's butt, so darn.
I think I mentioned before that Martin Short's a bit of a hypochondriac in this, so it's really fun to see this kind of funny guy who has something inside his body. Somebody talk. It's neat how it's like a buddy cop movie, but it's where the buddy is not really there. It's kind of talking from inside him, because we have these cutaways to Dennis Quaid kind of hanging out in his little spaceship majigger thing inside of his body. So there was that kind of cutting back and forth kind of made it feel more segmented than it probably what it would feel now if they made this kind of movie. But I mean, they pulled it off all right.
Yeah, they did
Convincing
pretty good
enough
job.
special effects.
And I feel like it gave Martin Short's character, like, he built confidence. Like, he's like, oh, he's gonna give me the strength of 10 men, but even after that, and he's like, oh, he's inside of you, he still is able to hit the guy, and like, so it helps build his character. You make him less of a hypochondriac, less of a scaredy cat by the end. That part was pretty good. The ending was wonky, but we'll get there.
I couldn't believe this came out before Die Hard. That whole like terrorist storming the lab sequence was like right out of Die Hard, but that didn't come out until the following year. And they're not actually terrorists; they're a rival lab organization, of course, trying to steal the technology.
Because miniaturization is the new wave of fighting infection and warfare and everything. So the tech there is that they've got it. Only one lab has been able to get it where you could shrink and re-large somebody. All the other labs have gotten the shrinking, but they can't get the re-enlarging process. So they're all trying to get the make them large again process chip or whatever. Right. And they attack as he's being shrunk down. So instead of going into a rabbit, the doctor's running and just ends up stabbing Martin Short's character, I guess in like a mall or something.
Yeah.
And you've been introduced to Martin Short. He's like the assistant manager of like a grocery store. And he had been like, oh, I have this nightmare where this thing is going to happen, where everything rings up for so much money. And it does. And then the woman pulls out this like tiny pearl-handed pistol, but it's a pistol lighter.
Yeah, that was weird how he had a dream about that beforehand. But then like the zany antics kind of start during that chase with the professor. He crawls down this like interstate wall and ends up on a bike and just going, and you got this really badass looking guy chasing after him. So that was kind of funny. And before he finally runs into Short, and I think he ejects him in the butt with that vial or syringe or whatever you call it.
It was a syringe, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty weird how like he got transformed and he ended up in a little like, I guess it's kind of hard to imagine how would you handle something that small, but They definitely make sure it's as small as you can possibly imagine fitting in a test tube.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And then, I don't know if some of the science about the way he was able to travel through the body was correct, but whatever, it's fine. It's a movie.
Very sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah,
He goes up to the eyes and latches into the eyes, and he can see what he sees, and somehow
and then,
gets connected to his eardrum, and so he has like
yeah,
comms with him.
yeah. So instead of now, where he would just have a cell phone basically, or some implant of some sort of device. Yeah, he's just on his eardrum, so you can tell him what to do, and like he goes and like punches or rams into the adrenal gland to give him more adrenaline or something at some point. So
Oh, I missed that part. I thought it was hilarious whenever he gets him to chug some whiskey, and then he sticks his hand out of the spaceship and
yeah,
collects it in a little flask. And
he's like, in order for me to get drunk, you've got to get drunk. And so yeah, he just starts downing all this. Was it Jim Beam?
some
Wild
kind of
Turkey?
whiskey. Yeah, some kind of whiskey.
It's an actual named whiskey. They said the name of it, but yeah, he takes it and puts a flask out in like a little robotic arm, and like, I'm gonna get this whiskey.
Yep. But yeah, Short was a great actor for this kind of movie with all the crazy facial expressions he has to do as, he deals with this little pilot in his body, kind of helping him along the way. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo, moving on, flipping through the movie. Oh, yeah, as I was kind of going back to remind me what exactly happened in this, yeah, you have Martin Short doing all these real average looking things, and then you cut over to, Quaid just hanging out in this cockpit. So this whole back and forth vibe, like I said earlier, the segmentation of this movie makes it a little choppy, but anywho, it was the 1980s.
Yeah, and then he ends up. I don't remember how he ends up in the back of the freezer truck.
Yeah, the baddies get him. They lock him up in the back of the freezer truck, and then
This is where
Quaid.
this is after they've met Meg Ryan, and he's tried to impersonate the fence guy whose name I can't remember.
Oh, the cowboy.
The cowboy, yeah.
Because yeah, he's one of the henchmen, but somehow Dennis Quaid makes it so he turns into a guy that looks like the cowboy. So yeah, they try
Except
to
for his hair. Martin Short doesn't have like a Jerry curl fro thing going on. Yeah, that was really weird. That, and you have Martin Short starting to like want to get with Meg Ryan.
Yeah, so they kiss at one point, and so the spaceship like goes from one buddy to the other, and there's some shenanigans
and then they have to
here.
kiss again to shove it back, which doesn't make any sense because like he was like in her lower regions, I guess, in her stomach area, and I guess he traversed back up to get tonsil hockey back over to Martin Short. This is weird.
Although, but I'm glad you mentioned that freezer truck scene because, yeah, so he's freezing his ass off in there. The main baddie comes in and tries to talk reason with him. And then Quaid, like, talks him up and wants to get him to escape. And so he is hanging off the back of this truck, very Jackie Chan and Police Story-like. And, yeah, that's a pretty cool action sequence.
That was pretty cool. They had the guy, he was like, had one leg on the door and one leg on the top of the Mustang convertible, and the guy with the motorcycle like drives between his legs. So he could have been in the Mustang like 50 times over before he finally ended up in the Mustang, but it is what it is.
I had forgotten they had to get the enlargement chip back from them. So like the whole like back and forth of that part as I was flipping back through, I was like, what is going on here? And then went back into the wiki and it's like, oh yeah, they have the little chip that they're trying to get back a hold of in order, because he's, the stakes are all risen or raised since he's running out of air, right?
He's running out of air.
Get him out of
there. And the other lab is going to shrink in a guy to go in and take his chip from him and essentially kill him. And then they're just going to enlarge the other guy and just kill Martin Short like instantly on the spot because he'd be ripped in half.
Ugh.
So
Yikes.
yeah. That doesn't come to happen. They end up escaping, and they end up like half shrinking the bad guy and like his girlfriend and all the scientists or whatever. Like they turn them all into dwarves basically. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a crazy car scene with weird camera angles to make the people look small, and then puppets, and it ends up crashing on the beach, not in the water, just on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The baddie going after Quaid. I guess Quaid tricks him into flying down into the battery acid, or not battery acid, stomach acid, and so he gets all eaten up.
yeah, he gets Martin Short's character to like get all nervous and makes his ulcer go haywire or
Oh,
something.
all right, right. Gosh, so many
Yeah.
little details that I'm forgetting about. Oh, and
I
the
mean, I'm
scientific
surprised I
way of
remember this
extracting
movie.
him with with sneezing him out onto the glasses at the end.
Oh yeah, they sneeze him out and they put him on like a name badge, and then they finally re-enlarge him, and hoorah, and Meg Ryan's all happy, and they're all together, and they get married,
Yeah.
and then Martin Short's there, and he quits his job,
Mm-hmm.
and the girl who was like, I slept with everybody there but you, and you're the only one I'm actually attracted to. He's like, not in a million years. And then he realizes that the driver of the limo is
Mm-hmm.
the cowboy, and that he goes off to chase after them, and he's in the Mustang, and they're just down this winding road as their music and credits play. It was
Yeah,
very
I didn't.
wonky.
I didn't pick up on the whole like he has to go after them because the bad guys driving their car apart. I didn't see that until I looked at the wiki. But yeah, I got more at the end. He's kind of making those zany faces in the car as he's driving off because he wants to live life to the fullest now. Doesn't want to be a hypochondriac grocery clerk anymore. So yeah, one of those kind of movies where a zany set of circumstances gets the guy to be more than he ever was.
So, I gave it a 3. um, just kind of a little bit above average, nothing great, nothing terrible. There were some good parts and there were some kind of meh parts. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, some of the stuff was a little more slapsticky than I prefer. So,
Okay. I mean, overall, this is a whole lot more fun than Key Largo, but obviously not as smart too. I like the whole buddy cop relationship between Quaid and Short, although obviously, it kind of felt like they're in two different places. Like, I really the realism of him actually being tiny in a body, cutting back and forth, didn't probably get as immersed in that as I probably would have liked to. But as a whole, pretty fun, zany time. Shocked I didn't watch it earlier, but yeah, Innerspace, 3.5. I would say it was. It's not great, but otherwise, but it's a decent '80s ride.
all
Cool,
right,
cool.
Justin.
So we are down into the future now.
we are into
Back,
the future
not back to the
and
future, forward to the future.
forward to the future. And this was supposed to be us just picking whatever we wanted, but we accidentally gave Justin one last category. So,
Yep. So Joey gets to pick whatever he wants, and I'm picking a movie off of Joey's list, which he had a lot of good stuff on that list. So no worries.
yeah, and so my list was movies that I own but I haven't seen. So, Justin, what did you pick?
I was looking at that Dante's Inferno epic cartoon, but it didn't have very good ratings, so I was like, And then I looked at, I think it's called Donkey Skin, and as much as I wanted to watch that, I know that looks like one of those movies from season 1 that I would probably pick, and you'd be like, this is bullshit, and I'd be like, but the donkey represents man. Anywho, I picked Fearless because I thought you'd appreciate that.
Fearless. I don't remember which one that is. I'll have to go look.
I think it might be Jet Li.
Yeah, it is a Jet Li movie. Okay. All right, then. So since you picked an action movie, I had a couple of things I was thinking about picking.
Okay.
So let's. You know what? I'm gonna pick something out of that list too. Actually.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Donkey Skin.
Nah, I'm gonna pick. It's one I've been. No, look, I bought that box set.
Nah.
I want to watch those movies.
Okay.
All those Jacques Demy movies. Don't get me wrong. Like if you would have picked that, I'd have been completely okay with it. I mean, I bought the whole box set off the power of one movie. So, let's go with Gone with the Wind.
Holy shnikes.
I've never seen it. I need to see it, and that will force me to watch it.
Well, that's going to be quite the epic episode as we check out Gone with the Wind and Fearless. Look at us. Starting season 4 with a bang.
Yeah, well, one of the other movies I was going to pick was also going to be very long, so we'll just...
Oh, which one was that?
RRR.
Oh, okay. I just finished listening to a podcast about that. I heard great things. Indian movie, huh?
Yes, and it's 4.1 average rating on the Letterboxd, so...
Cool. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be cranking these out a little more than once a month now that we'll be picking movies that are hopefully, kind of on our list and ones we want to get to, and we'll seen them and jump into a show. So I appreciate this expedited episode.
Oh, yeah, of course. We had to kind of rush with me having to work a half day and Justin having to do stuff, and then I got off late and had to eat. So, we got through it, though. This is a pretty good pace, too.
Yeah, I think this is only just over an hour probably, so just the right timing. Hopefully we didn't sound totally asleep while talking through these movies, so yeah. All right, so Joel, why do we do this show?
We do this show because we love talking about movies. But if any of our listeners here want to, would like for us to answer a question, they can send it to the Average Joe's Movie Clubcast at gmail.com or go to our Facebook page. You can do it there. You can go on our personal letterboxes. You can go on Twitter. We would love to hear from you. Maybe some suggestions or your thoughts. Tell us we're idiots or whatever you want. Just let us know.
If you want a podcast too, just let us know. Maybe we'll get you on an episode.
I mean, we do each have a podcast where we talk to other people. So
true. Yeah, there's a lot of formatting and stuff to get used to. I remember the last time the handful of times we had a guest on the show, it was just like, yeah, you got to do this and this and this.
Yeah, it's hard getting 3 people on here sometimes, but getting like you and one person or me and another person, which although right now is proving hard as shit to be too. So hopefully I'll get back to the video game soon. Tekken is queued up next for that, but hopefully we'll get there soon.
Sweet. All right. Happy 4th, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
And what's so stinking about it?
Non mi piace il feeling. Spirito Santo.
I think this just might be my masterpiece.